AI, as I mentioned before, right, it should not be the decision maker. It's to make something faster, like in the medical field, make it faster, look at it, diagnose an issue, but then you still need to do your own review to make sure that you're not missing something.
$10,000 in your sock drawer, right? Because you've been working a part-time job the past couple of years. You put it to the side, you save up. Now I want to buy an investment property. You take it and run, you dump it in the bank. Can't use a penny of it.
Welcome to the REI Partners Meetup. We're your hosts, Matt Morrow and Richard Clark. This is a place where knowledge is shared, friends collaborate, as we help each other to succeed in both our real estate and personal goals. We are a group of like-minded individuals from across the country who are here to help and support each other. Investors, realtors, entrepreneurs, and many others contribute to providing diverse and practical content for our events, especially our mentors who enjoy helping new and experienced investors in their journeys. Thanks for joining. We hope you enjoy the show and encourage you to bring others who may find value as we invest in our collective future.
Partners Meetup. Welcome everybody to REI Partners Meetup July 2023. Hosted by myself, Richard Clark. I'm out here in Western PA, Ohio area, running private equities and doing transactions with real estate. And Matt Morrow. Matt, introduce yourself.
I never introduced myself. I'm Matt. Everybody here knows me and kind of one that brings you most of the people here. Very happy to have everybody here. If you could find value or find subjects that you'd like to talk about or discuss in the future, just please let us know. Just a housekeeping point, if you guys see a new email from the REI Partners, I've been having to push it from our personal email so that you see it. Something happened with the old domain. We're going to get a new email address and we're going to ask everybody to accept the mailing list invite so that it's formal. And then between Richard and Ryan, who's helping us do a lot of this stuff on the back end, Ryan Friend, you'll see a new invite from all of us. But if you find value and you want to come and have more of these, we try and do it monthly. Just give us some feedback. We try and keep it low key, but if you do business with somebody in the room tonight, it's a success. Or if you learn something even better, the goal is to get everybody on a different level. So. What else, Richard?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, man. What did you say?
I said, what else?
What else? Look for some exciting things to happen going forward, where we are have more topics, more analysis, more in-depth activities, and we're thinking about putting a type of a forum on the website as well to allow people to comment, set their own topics, and then Matt and I can, when we have a chance to look at it and get get some feedback. Not quite like Bigger Pockets, but similar in terms of format.
So we have our website. If you guys want to check it out again, this is going to be changing domain soon here. So we have it here. The value here is just all the old meetups from here all the way back to our first one, talking with, oh my gosh, this is like forever ago, some of these guys. This is ridiculous to see how embarrassing this is. But go back, check it out. Like Richard said, it's kind of like Bigger Pockets, but it's local, it's real to our market. You guys all have a local interest here. Some of these guys, like Tom, he invests in Philly, New York. Matt's all over the Lehigh Valley. George, if you guys have been at some of these, George. John, he had 1,100 doors in Reading. We talk about stuff like this. It's really good information. There's Richard. He won't put his picture up, but that's what he looks like. There's Richard again. Melissa, she develops on the island of Honduras, so it's kind of cool seeing her out there. He is a retired airline pilot. That's how we met, and he's buying about 100 doors a year with partners, and he's up to a few hundred. He retired himself. Ryan's a mortgage lender we connected with a long time ago. He used to fly with his dad, so that's how we're in the business. TJ, He just started his own private practice from Lehigh Valley Hospital doing wound care, and he got started in real estate investment. So it's kind of cool with $0 out of his pocket, and then just all of our old stuff. So this is our website if you want to check it out. The YouTube channel where everything goes afterwards. Ryan puts it all up here so you could watch it and interact with these things if you want. But that's pretty much it.
Excuse my ignorance here, Matt, but when you're saying he's buying 100 doors with REI Partners,
he's buying 100 doors on his own. REI Partners doesn't do any business. We are purely a meetup networking group that puts people in the same door. REI Partners isn't a brokerage. They're not agents. We all do our own things. We're just putting it all together. So, and that's how we meet all these guys. So that's a good point. I've never actually said that.
I'm thinking like, is this people pooling money and like, identifying properties and buying together? You're saying he's buying this on his own.
In places it is. A lot of these guys, this guy, him, Matt, and Key, they're all syndicated. So they're pulling money from investors. They're creating, some of them have funds that they raise cash for, but a lot of these guys have just investor partners that they have their entities with, whether it be corporations, LLCs, and they do it all together. But they come on and share their stories. Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And some of these guys, you never know, they might want to do a deal, but people have partnered on this meetup before.
And do you have a common theme within this group in terms of people buying single family properties, or are you buying 30 unit? Okay.
Yeah, we have guys 100 unit buildings to live in house hacks. So that's really what it is. And we have a few people just starting off. Ryan, perfect example. He bought a 2 unit in Allentown while I was employed full time. They laid him off, and because of that 2 unit, he's living for free. He got his real estate license. Now he's on our team. It's powerful stuff.
Let me chime in on some of that, Matt. That's one of the challenges we have and we're facing right now is that we have people from all walks of life, of course, the people that have varying levels of experience. And the challenge is trying to get the content appropriate to the audience, right? But so we can't do more than one meetup because we're so busy buying real estate. But that's one of the challenges we have. So we work with people with single family is bread and butter, right? Multifamily is in line, and then commercial. And a lot in the way of commercial, and commercial's not really where we want to be right now. But single and multifamily, oh yeah, absolutely. Any number of units is appropriate. 10, 100, 500. We haven't quite gotten to the developer level yet. In some cases, we haven't had any of those on, but we're planning on it. Right, Matt?
Absolutely. And the ulterior motive of this whole thing is really to have people network, get education to the point where when one of us comes across a slam dunk that we need help with, it's powerful with partners. So you have a lot of people in this room right now, and I can tell you 4 of you have expressed interest in partnering if the right deal came around. John and I are getting ready to have a golf course, an 18-hole golf course that needs to be developed, like into houses or something. And that's a deal that we need to outsource and help people with. So this is really, really cool stuff. And if you have a group like this that we can network with, anybody on the screen or on the mailing list, they're already past the, I don't know who you are, you can't just Google them. These people are interested in real estate enough, call in, learn, and educate. So we're to a different level just by showing up. So Richard's right. This is like, the motive here is to meet people with similar interests, because you never know what can happen. So we'll never, charge to come to the meetup, stuff like that. We're not bigger pockets, but we're local pockets, I guess you could say. Anybody have any last minute? I think that was a good question, Mike. No one's ever asked.
I actually had another one. Yeah, I'm thinking I don't want to hijack this with all my questions, but
so you guys could see these are the dudes that are talking.
I've also been interested in looking more into going around identifying a property, getting people to give me money, buying a property, and running it like that, right? How do you guys go about? I've never understood. All right, I'm going to go around. I'm going to collect $500,000. I'm going to buy a $500,000 property. How do you then identify how much each person gets in terms of you're just taking the monthly rent and then splitting it up based on the percentage that they gave you to acquire the property?
For the most part, yeah. So when you have
that
a
simple.
let's say you have a piece of pie. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. That's almost a two-part question. You know, the way that I do it is I get investors to place their monies with me and operate in partnership with them, where they place their monies. They rely on me to make the buys, the purchases appropriate to the type of, you know, capitalization and profit that we want to achieve, and then we share in that profit in some way. Now, how that splits out is, you know, depending on the deal, depending on the investor rather. But that's one way of doing that. If you're looking to get money to invest in real estate and you want to have, you don't want to come out of your pocket, you want to use other people's money, which is exactly the way to do it. The challenge is finding those investors sometimes, right? And the other challenges is finding the properties that they're wanting to invest in, but they rely largely on you, and what they get is mailbox money.
And then are you financing these, Rich, or are you pooling all this money together and buying these properties cash?
Most of them are usually cash, okay? There are investors, particularly people that are using some of their retirement funds. They may want to any of those finance just a number a little bit in terms of how much they got.
Your internet out in Ohio is not doing too good today, buddy. Can you start that over?
I think I got one.
All right, he'll talk for a few minutes.
Did you hear me? You guys hear me?
No, we didn't. You cut off after
Oh, I cut off. Where did I cut off at?
After the cash purchase. This is all right. We can kind of summarize it here. You can buy cash from an investor pool, and then that's their investment. They put the cash in because then it's all profit at that point. But if you're looking to syndicate or have a deal where people finance it together, the way to do that is through some formal entity where you split your ownership based on your contribution. $100,000. Somebody brings 50,000, somebody brings 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. You get the splits in ownership or equity, the same split, and you get the same split in cash flow and appreciation. But you'd have to figure that out who your partners are beforehand and what the split is. We had one of the guys on the call last night, I believe it was that. We were talking last night with his partners about how to do this. Because you want to start it off right, because once you buy the asset, it's really tough to switch it out. So
yeah, the key in that is making sure you don't have too many people in the syndication, right? I mean, for profit, it's not there to satisfy everyone. Well, you know.
And once you get to a certain level of syndication, you have to have SEC registration and all this stuff because you're now securities and you're offering profits to some things. You got to be less FICO. So
at what point does it become a rate?
That's a good question. It changes.
Okay.
I don't know the actual answer depending on what you're doing.
Wait a minute, what was the question, Matt? We didn't hear that.
At what point does it become a real estate investment trust? Is that where the accredited investors are involved? I think that one.
Yeah, REITs are a completely different animal. That's not where you really want to go. I mean, you can go that way, but and reinvent that business because it definitely needs some improvement. But a real estate investment trust operates on the premise of having a lot of investors on very large deals.
All right.
We lost you. You're not owning a property, you're investing in the company who owns the property.
Right.
Yes.
So, and there's certain rules like 90% profit for us good investors, right? But the company itself has to go public. So you're not investing in the property, you're investing in the company who owns the property, not owning a
I knew that, but I didn't know you need to go public or at what point.
That's what it is, basically.
To scale, does it just then become that?
There's rules like you have to send 90% of the profits to the investors or 80%. It's pretty high. It's like 80 or 90%. So there's
exactly it is.
Interesting.
But you're not you don't actually own a share.
I did.
Oh, you did? Hey, Rich, I'm going to pull up the first PowerPoint so we can get going. This is good.
Okay.
Which one do you want, Mike? Oh, I got a nice amount of people on here today. Can you guys all see this? Sorry, guys. Oh, it's a PDF. There we go.
Yeah, that's right. It's like it's a PowerPoint, but in PDF form.
Okay. Are you guys? There we go. Rich, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I am going to hand this over to Mike.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. For everyone in the room here, I'm Mike Giglio, branch manager with Cross Country Mortgage. My specialty is 1 to 4 unit residential financing. Anything above 4 units, as you guys probably know in this room, becomes a commercial loan. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was really our one niche investor product, right? So if I'm doing 20 investment properties a year, I'm qualifying people based off of just standard traditional financing, right? Getting W-2s, getting tax returns, you're qualifying, you're identifying a residential property, you're just buying it, but it's an investment property, so you need to put down 20, 25%, whatever the case is. So the one niche product that we have is the investor cash flow, also known as DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. So what this product is used for is essentially any individual that's not going to qualify for traditional finance, right? And I always want to preface it right off the bat because the terms with these, it's essentially hard money lending, right? So if you're going to qualify traditionally, you're not really want to go this route. But if you're an individual that maybe you just came into a lot of cash, maybe you're self-employed, you don't show all the money you make, whatever the case is, this is a phenomenal tool to have at your disposal to be able to get that cash into a property, as well as it is the only product that we have that you can buy in an LLC. All right. So just want to touch on, I'll be brief here. I just want to touch on a couple specifics about this program. All right. So the DSCR is just a purely based off of the rental income. We're going to lend you the money as long as fair market rent, as deemed by the appraiser, covers the mortgage payment. We're going to lend to you. All right. So there's no, you have to have a documented experience of being a landlord. And we can see that by just getting a Schedule E, and just seeing, any rental properties they have. Even if you just have one investment property, you're going to qualify for it. All right. It is investment properties only. You cannot buy a primary residence, nor again, with this product, would you want to buy a primary residence? The benefits of this one, kind of as I touched on, no debt to income ratio. So you don't have to worry about qualifying the traditional way. No income documentation. We need the tax return for the Schedule E to verify that you have a history of being a landlord, but we don't need the tax returns for any sort of income calculation or anything like that. You cannot have more than, it has 10 here, but you cannot have more than 15 financed properties as a result. And buying in the LLC, you need to set up a new LLC to purchase the property. So if you run an LLC and you have 10 properties under that LLC, you need to establish a new one to take advantage of this DSCR program. You can't roll it into the existing LLC, right? Another thing, why do we want to buy in an LLC? Because it's awesome. Liability, right? If anything, God forbid, happens to the property, the individual can't sue you personally. All they can do is sue the LLC. I always like to bring this up because I talk to a lot of people that Matt refers me, and it's from a standpoint of they come into it thinking they want to buy an LLC from a liability standpoint. But what a lot of people don't know is you can essentially have that same protection by taking out an umbrella policy. So with whoever your real estate agent or your insurance agent is, calling them up, and this was through the advice of our real estate attorney years ago.
anybody now, God forbid, house burns down, somebody passes away, anybody's going to settle out of court, $3-4 million, they're going to take it, they're going to go a separate way. It still protects you personally while without needing to buy it in an LLC. All right. Let's see. So this is the one I'm looking for. So minimum down payment on this is 20%. The more you put down, the better the pricing is going to be. And that's going to vary. You're going to need a minimum of a 620 credit score, no debt to income ratio, as I touched on, up to $3.5 million for the loan amount. You can get this in fixed and adjustable rate. You're always going to get the better term in adjustable versus the fixed.
One question we get a lot is for investors trying to get in, most investors who are seasoned, who have some liquidity somewhere, they have no problem with the down payment requirements, but a lot of investors try and get in less than 20%. This, there's no exception to that, 20% down minimum. Correct?
So 20% down minimum. I will say the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac minimum is 15%. That being said, I don't know a lender out there that is lending on 15% down purely because the pricing does not exist. Right now, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they are doing everything they can in their loan level price adjustments to price investors out of the market. Right, like you're on an investment property now, you're talking ballpark of 7%, paying anywhere from 1 to 3 points, depending on your criteria. Right, it's 400 basis points from what we were paying a year or 2 years ago. So it's one of those things where, like, technically the minimum is 15%, but we don't even have pricing to offer. I could charge you 3 points and we'd still be losing 2 points at the branch level to do the loan. So when anybody comes to me and says they want to buy an investment property, I'll tell anybody 25%. 25% is going to get you the best terms to be able to purchase that property. Whether you're buying it through your personal name or you're going through a commercial lender, anybody, right? They're always going to get you your interest rate based on risk. The more that you're putting down, the less of a risk you are, the better pricing you get.
These are for investor only, non-owner occupant loans. If you're going to buy as an investor, this is the plan. If you're buying as an owner occupant, those rules don't apply to you. This is purely if you want to buy this thing to never live in and rent, this is the product that you'll have to go with.
This is the way to go. And it's really mainly for, buy and hold, right? Again, something more so that I specialize in is the buy and hold approach as opposed to the flip. Any of you guys flip? Or is a lot of this stuff in this group buy and hold?
There's a lot of flipping. And people on the call are flipping as well. So
okay.
I know that the products there are totally different.
Yep. Yep.
Do you require LLC or can you do it
for this product? It needs to be in an LLC. But if you're, again, this is for if you're not qualifying for traditional, right? So for anyone that doesn't know, to buy in your personal name, you can't have more than 10 finance properties. So as long as you have less than that. And the other thing I tell people too, a lot of people think that they're not going to qualify for a traditional mortgage. But what a lot of people don't know is when you're buying an investment property, we can give you credit for 75% of that rental income. Mm-hmm. So what I tell most people is, for the most part, when you're buying an investment property, you just pretty much need the cash, right? The additional income that we can give you to qualify is going to offset the majority of that payment, where you're not really adding additional debt like when you're buying a primary residence or when you're vacating a home, trying to buy another one, and you got to qualify for both mortgages before you can sell the previous one. Guessing you've gone through that?
No, I just. It sounds terrible.
It is. But yeah, so, like I said, 12-month history of needing to be, to document to be a landlord. All right. There's going to be a prepayment penalty, which is based on so many different factors that it's a little much to even dive into at this point. But if you are selling the property prior to 3 years, there was some sort of prepayment penalty. And for this one, you can't have more than 15 finance properties.
Do you have refinances on the same product?
Yes.
Yeah, same LTV, or is that a little higher?
No, it'll be the same thing. It'll be the same thing.
And that's just all appraised value, so if you get a good deal, doesn't matter when you walk the market.
Correct. Correct.
I got a question. When you say like no debt to income ratio, does that mean you don't check any like income requirements or anything like that? Okay, so if you just became self-employed in the last few months and prior to that there was really no income, then you qualify for it. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
As long as you have a history of being a landlord.
Okay.
And then it's purely a matter of, we identify the property, You guys tell me, you know, hey, Matt, what's fair market rent for this place? Okay, numbers work, or it doesn't. And obviously the appraiser needs to then agree with that assessment,
Yeah.
right? But as long as the fair market rent covers it, and you have a 1-year history of being a landlord, we lend. This by far is the closest thing to the no doc years that I have seen as long as I've been in this business.
Ryan, this is the product for you in your exact situation
Why I
right
asked the
now.
question, yeah.
And the deal needs to be good enough that the loan to value, I mean, you're gonna have to get in this thing for a good deal, but you can find one.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're hustling, this is the product.
Yeah. Yep.
Otherwise, you're
I
stuck
didn't know
in,
that existed.
you gotta wait for another like 18 months until you're a W-2 or until you're a 1099 employee with steady income.
Yes.
Nice, okay.
And then, one thing I forgot to touch on here, reserves. So you're borrowing less than $1 million, you gotta have 6 months reserves, meaning if the mortgage payment is $2,000, we need to verify that after you close, you have at least $12,000 in your bank account. And then obviously it goes up the more that we lend, but it does. So we can use 60% of what would be considered retirement funds. So if you have $100,000 in your 401k, I can only give you credit for 60, but we can use it towards the reserve requirement.
Now, fair market rent, because I've used ESCR before in the past.
Yep.
And I've lost out on a deal because the lender said that if the property is vacant or some units are vacant, can you estimate fair market rent, or does that have to be?
Oh, no, it's going off of the projected and or
It's allowed.
what the current lease is, the lower of the two.
And if you need help proving that, appraisers and especially people in this, they're gonna lowball. If you need help justifying that single family house that you just bought in Macungie is gonna rent for $2,000. We will show you the comps that we used, prove it to you, but and any person we work with should do the same.
Yeah,
Because they're out there.
yeah. Yeah, I've lost out on property before because the rents were grossly under rented, and it didn't cover the.
Yeah.
The
Which, for whatever reason, I feel like I've seen a lot of recently is people interested in these properties, but the landlord's known the guy for 20 years. He's been a great tenant and he's paying $800 a month. Yeah, fair market rent $1,700, and we can't use the fair market rent because we need to go off of the current lease. So it is something to keep an eye on, but it will always be the lower of the two.
And so vacant will be better in a case.
Yes. Yes. Vacant can't hurt you. Well, I mean, it can if the appraiser wants to be, screw you over.
Yeah.
But other than that, can't hurt you. Yeah.
That's a good question.
You asked for it, you would relate with the 1030 with exchange.
That's a really good question. I have not done. I've done 5 of these loans since coming over to cross country. None of them have I dealt with a 1031. So I can get you an answer on that, but I don't know offhand. Anything else?
Can you bake the reserves into the against your deposit, i.e., pay a little more, so you keep a little, yeah, you know what I mean, kind of. So you've got, after you get the loan, you've got 6 months reserve.
But where's it coming from? I'm sorry.
If you put more, if you like do 25% or.
Well, in that case, you want to do the opposite. You want to put less down so that you have more reserves on the back end.
Okay, yeah.
We just touch on that. Part of the DSCR loan is proving cash reserves after selling. So making more of a down payment to have more equity doesn't make the bank as happy as you not missing the mortgage payment.
Right.
So that's
correct.
That's the important point.
As odd as that is,
Yeah.
the bank would rather you have put 20% down and have the reserves than put 25% down and not have the reserves. Good.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I know that a lot of people had was when you get pre-qualified.
Yep.
We'll talk about personal purchases because LLCs to be pre-qualified is a little different.
Yes.
Commercial pre-qualification is kind of not the old Steve out here.
It's the Wild West.
It is. For a investor buying in their personal name who's pre-qualified, can you give a list of things that you see that are common that quickly makes them not pre-qualified and what causes the deals to fall apart? Because that can cause you to lose money when you're under contract. You can make a lot of people look bad.
Yep.
How do you stay pre-qualified?
So I'd say the 2 things I see the most are cash deposits. People don't know that you have $10,000 in your sock drawer, right? Because you've been working a part-time job the past couple of years. You put it to the side, you save up. Now I want to buy an investment property. You take it, you run, you dump it in the bank. Can't use a penny of it. So no cash deposits. It's the one thing I'll tell everybody all the time. And if you do want to deposit it, we are going to, depending on the product that we lock in and the investor, they're going to want either a 1 month bank statement or 2 months of bank statements. So if it's a goal of yours to buy a property and you have the cash, dump it in the bank now, let it season, right? Let it get in now in July. And then I'm going to ask for your August and September bank statements. And I'm not going to see that cash deposit, so it's not going to be an issue. The other thing that I see is opening up new lines of credit. People are going under contract, or they're just looking. Their car breaks down, they buy a new car, or they want to open up a Home Depot account to get a bunch of stuff to be able to renovate the property. They don't wait until closing's done. They go out, they buy it. There's obviously now a repayment on this line of credit that you just opened up, and now all of a sudden your debt to income ratio is over what you qualify for. So those are the two things that I would say I see the most.
I've heard something in the past that was one of our clients. He thought he was doing the right thing by paying off a bunch of credit cards during the time he was under contract, thinking it would make it better. But there's a negative hit when you close a credit line, correct?
So there's a difference though. If you're just paying the card off and keeping it open, phenomenal. Can't hurt you. Only going to increase your credit score. If you pay that card off and close it, that's when it hurts you.
Yeah.
Really what the credit bureaus want to see is that you have a lot of credit at your disposal, but that you're responsible in your utilization. So I tell anybody, you want to keep your balances below 20% of the limit at all times. So if you have $1,000 credit card, keep the balance below 200, make the payment in full each month. I see it all the time. It could be the difference of somebody has that credit card, and at the time I pull it, there's an $800 balance on it. Their score is a 608. And then versus if they'd have it paid off and I pull it, the score is a 708. I mean, it no lie can have a 100-point swing in your credit score based on what your credit utilization is at the time of the pull. So if it's something where you guys want to buy property, we know this is coming down the pike, make sure you're paying that stuff off a good 30 days prior to making application and having that credit pulled.
The thing is, people think because just they pay it off at the end of the month, they're good, but they're still over the limit.
Exactly.
So they don't know when that's being reported to the credit bureaus. So they're like, no, I used it, but I paid off.
Yep.
Yeah, but at some point throughout the month, you held
Exactly.
a percentage of usage too high, and then your company reported.
Yep.
And then you paid it off the next day.
Exactly. Now we do have the ability to do rescores, right? Like with any client, I just actually had somebody today that she was at a 672. We've got to get her score over 720. I sent her the instructions. She had to pay this example, a credit card down from $700 to $289 is what the credit analyzer results told us. And her score will go from a 672 to a 728 as a result of a $500 payment on a credit card. She's going to get me the updated statement. I'm going to run it through the credit bureau, and we're going to rescore it and get her where she needs to be. So there is the ability to do that if you are, not perfect timing, but just more so giving food for thought for if it is something that we think we want to do and we have cut credit cards with high balances, let's work on getting those down. Because I'll tell anybody, you're much better off taking that $5,000, $6,000 and paying down the credit card debt than trying to keep that for a house when the difference you're going to get on the interest rate between a 760 and a 660. It's worth the money to pay off that debt that at the end of the day you owe anyways.
So Mike, I want to go back to the cash. So
Yes.
Look at a bank statement, like if you have savings accounts, they don't care about that?
Absolutely, we care about that.
Oh, okay, all
Oh,
right.
absolutely. Checking, savings, 401k.
Oh, okay.
You
But I
name it,
guess I was
IRA.
confused about the cash deposits.
So that's not, well, that'd be cash in the bank, but that wouldn't be a cash deposit. Like, you're going to get me your bank statement.
Right.
And I'm going to see on July 16th, $6,000 ATM deposit in the line item.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd that $6,000 come from?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, it was from a friend paying me back. Prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't. Of course you can't. Can't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Government wants to know that any money you're buying that house with, you paid taxes on. It's all done to prevent money laundering.
Where can the gift money come from? For some personal purchases, gift money can be accepted.
So it cannot on investment properties. No gifts. But if we're talking house hacking, we're talking want to buy a primary residence, you can get a gift. It needs to be from a family member or a spouse, significant other, fiance, something like that. Anything that we can make the argument that there's kind of a vested family interest. with the individual buying the property. But you can get the entire amount gifted. There is no minimum requirement from you as the buyer to buy a primary residence.
Is that even before getting the property? So let's say I'm not under contract and I'm just searching for properties. And for example, my father gifts me $20,000. Are they going to ask about that even prior to going under contract for an investment property?
So if it's an investment property, you're going to want to get that money from your father ahead of time, deposit it, let it season, and then we could use that money because I'm going to see your bank statement again. If you get the money from your father in July, deposit that money. When I get your August and September bank statements for your October 15th closing, I'm not going to see that deposit, and we're not going to even need to say it was a gift. If we do see that that money was deposited, we cannot use it because you can't get gift funds on an investment property.
Okay, so essentially you just have to let it season then.
One workaround that, as I say that, one workaround that is if we put the individual on the agreement of sale who is gifting the money, then it's not considered a gift, and they don't need to be on the loan.
They also own apartments.
Yeah. Yeah.
They die, you got
So if you have to create an LLC for this, how does that work with closing if I'm looking for a property? Should I get one in advance or?
For the DSCR program?
Yeah, that program, does that have?
You're going to want to establish it during the process,
Okay.
yes.
I know sometimes getting an LLC established can take a while with the
Yes.
states and stuff like that.
You'll want to get the ball rolling on that ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anybody here needs help with the LLC thing, I know Rich, you and I and John have helped people start from scratch. We're familiar with Pennsylvania. Again, this is not real estate agent stuff. We're here as REI partners helping each other as investors. But if you need help setting up an LLC to do this or anything else, we have it down to a very simple step-by-step process. You don't have to pay an attorney, drafts about operating agreements, anything you need. But if this is something you need an LLC beforehand, we can help you.
It usually takes like a month for everything to get finalized, so just so everybody knows.
One last thing I'll touch on with the gift funds. If you are buying a property with a conventional loan, all we need is a copy of the canceled check from the donor. That's it. If you are buying a property with an FHA loan, we're going to need a copy of the canceled check as well as a 30-day transaction history from the donor. So again, this prevents people from giving someone cash. The dad dumps it in the bank, then he gifts the money to his son. We're going to see that cash was deposited and you can't use it. The workaround that is conventional financing. Conventional financing, we can take that sock drawer money, give it to a parent, have the parent deposit it, then have them wire the money. All we need to see is a copy of the wire transfer.
There's a few questions here. Minimum loan amount after the 20% down.
Minimum.
Is there a minimum loan?
No. Or wait, I'm sorry. Are we talking about just traditional? Or are we
I think
talking?
this is referring probably to the DSCR.
Yes,
Yeah, that was 7:01 p.m. That was 8 minutes ago. Yes, yeah. So
I believe it is 100,000 for that one, for the DSCR program. It's probably 60,000 for a traditional one. Once it gets below that, it's a matter of, because of it being it's going to fail the fees and points rule. You literally can't even do the money, or you can't do the loan because you can't. You're paying to do the loan at that point. Can't charge enough.
What are the fees and interest rates like at the moment?
So for an investment property, I mean, here's the thing: on the Mortgage News Daily 30-year fixed rate right now, national average is 6.9%. The 15 years at 6.3%. Now, for an investment property, you're probably getting between the same thing, 6.875 to 7.25. The difference is on a primary, you're maybe paying no points, half a point. Investment, you're probably paying at least 2 points for that interest rate. Because again, the margin compression in banking right now is just the investors aren't paying anything. And the reason for that is because when you're locking people in at 6-7%, they know as soon as rates dip, these people are getting out, right?
So you've got a minimum time before you can pay off without penalty, right? So
not on the DSCR, yes.
Yeah.
Not on a traditional
Talking
mortgage.
about it, yes,
The
yes.
DSCR, yes, 0 to 3 years.
Mike, can you buy out of those penalties in the DSCR?
Can you buy out of it?
Pay the penalty.
Yeah, I was gonna say either way.
It happens. Stuff.
Yep.
Hey guys,
Up, Coyle.
I had a couple questions off of that. One, does this loan work where you can do rate buy downs? And then B, how do the rates vary in terms of like I think it was showing like a 7.6 ARM. So how does it kind of vary with the adjustable, and do you guys kind of run the program adjustable and then allow people to refinance out in a few years, or yeah, kind of?
Yes. So you can refi. The rates on these are 12, 13%. On the adjustable, maybe you're getting down to 10%. And yes, there are you can buy down, but there's still a limit on it would be technically considered a non-QM loan, right? Which a QM and non-QM. This is all post 08. QM qualified mortgage, the lender is not allowed to charge more than 3 points in terms of lender fees, origination points, whatever the case is. You can't charge more than 3% of the loan amount. When it's non-QM, you can't charge more than 5% of the loan amount. So you can absolutely buy the rate down lower, Khalil, but there is a limit on how low you can buy it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You guys have any other questions?
Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on what a DSCR loan is? I've heard that before, watching some of the bigger pocket videos, and I just want to understand what the structure of that loan is.
It's very simple. It's just debt service coverage ratio. And all it simply means is if the rental income on the property that you are purchasing covers the mortgage payment. So if fair market rent's $2,500, as long as your mortgage payment is $2,499 or lower, you get approved for that loan.
So that doesn't factor in like what an investor would put on the side for like vacancy, maintenance, repair. It's
No,
just
it's got
the loan.
nothing to do with that. Just the rent. Correct. It's not taking into account all those other factors.
Okay, so let's say I wanted to apply for that type of loan. I'm assuming I would have to show the lender, an income statement, income expense statement of my loan, what my monthly loan is, and how much my property is bringing in each month. Is that what's typically required?
But this wouldn't be for one of your existing properties. This would be for a property that you wanted to purchase.
Oh, okay. So it's not like, so it's only for new properties then.
Correct, Adam. This is a product for, you're self-employed. You just changed to self-employed, right? You're calling all these different banks trying to get traditional financing. No one can get you approved because of traditional financing rules. But you have all this money. You want to buy an investment property. That's what this product is for, because this allows you to basically buy that property with no documentation other than you have to provide proof of being a landlord, which is normally done through just getting your most recent year Schedule E. And then you put the money down as long as the rent covers it. We're not checking W-2s. We're not checking tax returns. There's no income verification. It's like closest thing to a no doc loan. Appraiser is going to do a market rent analysis, and when they turn the report in, not only will we get the value of the property, but we're also going to get what fair market rent is, and whatever that appraiser says, that's the number that we're going to go off
of. Okay, got it. Thank you.
You'd never refinance into one of these loans. This is purely for investors to start investing that can't in another way. So this is like a last ditch effort.
Yes.
Other than hard money or private money.
Yes. I can't reiterate that enough. You would not want to do this loan if you qualify for traditional mortgage. You're going to get significantly better terms going the traditional route.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know then.
Yes.
You guys have any questions for Mike before we move on real quick? Thanks, Steve.
Cool. You got it. You got it.
Hey, Rich, we're going to switch it up for a second. I'm going to pass the computer around. You want me to bring this to you? Or do you want to come down here? All right, I'm going to share the screen. Brian Walter is going to start. Can you guys all on the call see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Nope.
All right, thanks, Matt. So my name is Brian Walter. I'm a full-time engineer and I'm a part-time wholesaler. So I've done some deals with Matt recently, and I was talking to Matt about kind of what I do in my kind of outside of real estate, but a little bit into real estate is my interest in artificial intelligence and developing artificial intelligence and understanding how can I apply this to real estate the last 2 years or so. So it kind of started more as an interest, as a personal interest for my engineering career. And then as well as my side business in developing medical devices on the side outside of my full-time job as a biomedical engineer. And then, coming up with some ideas and seeing what's out there for the real estate business as I am a wholesaler. So I would talk about three things primarily. The first thing is, what is AI, right? There's a lot of misconceptions of what AI is, the different types of AI. The second thing is, what tools are available right now for real estate investors in AI, and then what is the future of AI in real estate? So understanding, the role of the technologies and then the future opportunities. So understanding AI, there's a lot in here. I'm not going to talk about all this. So if you want to look at the presentation later, you can. So what is artificial intelligence? Primarily, it's the ability to learn by itself, right? So when you typically program a computer, you have ones and zeros, binary code. It does what you tell it to do, right? And it can't do anything else. It can't learn by itself. It needs human input to adjust things. It's like a calculator. You put in 12 times 12 is 144. There's nothing else. So what is AI? AI is the ability for the computer to learn from that input from different humans and adjust itself. It's still limited in the ability that it's still primarily limited in the structure of what it is, whether it's a text-based like ChatGPT or some visual tools. So the next item is visual AI. So visual AI is the next, I guess, after the text-based ChatGPT. So that's enabling computers to analyze and understand visual content. The two big things I see right now for computer visual AI is medical, number one, right? So a lot of this has to do with imaging analysis. So trauma patients come in, they go through CT scanners. Right now, the physician sits there and manually goes through the entire CT scan. There's opportunities for missing things, right? Until radiology gets it, 2 hours later and gets to review it. The purpose in this sense is really pointing, hey, here's something to look at, right? It's not going to replace any radiologist, but it just focuses them. From a real estate perspective, I think the next big thing for visual AI is going to be in analyzing Google Earth satellite imagery. So looking at identifying roofs that are damaged, that are not well taken care of, that have worn shingles, and extrapolating that to property evaluations essentially, right? Because typically if someone's not replacing the roof, most likely they're not taking care of the inside of the house, right? So as a wholesaler, as myself, we use tools like PropStream and other ones where you basically say, the typical wholesaler, right? 30 year old plus home, 15-year ownership plus 90 or 80% equity, and then you search it and you all send out the same exact information. AI in this sense for visual allows you to focus more on the properties that actually have that kind of wear and tear. So the future of AI is general AI, right? So general AI is more acting like a human being, right? So unlike specialized AI, which I mentioned earlier, which is more focused on specific tasks, looking at an image, writing a text, doing X, Y, or Z. Now, it's still learning within that spectrum, unlike a calculator or typical computer programming one and zeros, but it's getting all that together like a human being, essentially. And this is the stuff that people are worried about. People really aren't worried about artificial intelligence by itself. General AI is the thing that could be scary. The history is, it started in the 1950s, took a hiatus through the 70s and 80s, and now it's back. Next. So the role of AI in real estate. So, we'll get into a couple later here on, but streamlining operations and enhancing client interactions. Chatbots are obviously, as everybody knows, customer service. I heard a video recently from a Tesla. It was a real person. It would sound like a real person. Like, hey, what about this car? Why would I buy this over that or whatever? And it sounded like a real person responding to them. It was pretty cool. Chatbots have been around for about, I don't know, a year or two, probably, AI chatbots, and providing market insight. Specific areas, property management is a big thing, right? So this includes, if you're a property manager and you have a client who submits a health ticket, right, whether it's a leaking roof or a leaky faucet, AI in this sense, and I'll show you some examples of tools that already exist. They help to classify it, right? Is it something the owner needs to be aware of, or is it something that the property management contract, like, can deal with and send somebody out for. And AI in that sense is typical, modern AI where they're focused on one thing, text-based classification, and that's it. It's not general AI by any stretch of the imagination. And improved accuracy, reduced, human error, faster processing, predictive capabilities. AI for property managers, right? So you can dig into this deeper, but there's a lot of tools I put in here as examples. Now, keep in mind, these tools may be outdated by tomorrow. They may go out of business and may get replaced by something else. So these are just ideas for you to look into if interested. Tenant screening, obviously, right? Background checks. Predictive maintenance is a big thing. Virtual property tours, which came out at really the beginning of COVID, and rent price analysis. Zillow 3D is getting pretty good into it right now. As people understand, Zestimate is not what it was 2 years ago, right? The last year they got an AI, and the assessments are a lot closer than they were 5 years ago. They were a joke, right? Or even 3 years ago they were a joke. Now they're getting pretty dangerously close, and that's powered by AI, not general AI, but specific AI. Yeah, I don't know what they even call it. I just call it AI, I think. AI.
Zillow probably has their own name for
Estimate, yeah.
Zillow AI. We're gonna fly that.
Yeah, so when I say AI, I just mean AI as it is today, which is basically task specific, right? You want to do X, Y, and Z, you can learn at that, but it's still doing X, Y, and Z. General AI is like the scary AI where it's putting consciousness together with, visual, with text, with everything.
Is that ChatGPT?
So ChatGPT is just
Text.
AI, text-based AI.
Okay.
And so that's a good question, because a lot of these tools that you'll see here, to give a background, they're powered by ChatGPT. So a lot of them, what they do is they basically take ChatGPT, put in an interface that you will understand as a real estate investor or as an accountant or as a whatever you are. And a lot of these tools here, they could not afford to build their own databases. So they're being powered by ChatGPT or Bing. Even Bing runs partially off of ChatGPT.
And ChatGPT is a company. That's the name of the company.
OpenAI.
OpenAI.
So OpenAI is, well, it started off as what it sounds like. OpenAI, it was like a grassroots, people, open software, right? Now it's a company. So it's a little bit different, but OpenAI is the name of the company.
Okay.
ChatGPT 4 is our current model.
They seem like what's exploded this whole
AI. Exactly.
ChatGPT.
They're running the primary, mainframe for almost all of these tools that we have here. And all these companies are doing Zirkle and Structurally and all these House Carney. I never used any of these, but what they're basically doing is just creating a user-friendly interface that's being powered by a larger like ChatGPT. And these are mostly all text-based. There's a couple, I think these are all text-based actually. So anyways, automated lead. So this is for real estate agents, right? So ideas, right? Automated lead generation, chatbots, obviously. Market analysis and prediction. Future opportunities, AI is the new normal. So identification for motivated sellers. So as I mentioned earlier, there's no tool that exists for this right now, but an opportunity, yeah, exactly. That I see right now is, using Google Earth, because you can see the roof. Now the quality may not be there exactly yet from the satellites, possibly, but hey, if you see worn shingles, most likely they're not taking care of the property, right? And unlike what we do when we look for motivated sellers using PropStream and all these other tools, we're giving the same list that everybody else is mailing to, right? So there's no competitive advantage there. This is where you're going to start getting into more competitive advantages, which will become the new norm. So is it really a competitive advantage? Probably not someday. Improvements in predictive analytics. So marketing trends, investment outcomes, AI and green, right, buildings. I think this is already being used. Virtual reality, augmented reality. So, possibly someday there, may not even be physical tours at the first, you may always do a virtual tour. I don't think that's right there
On the Vision Pro.
Yeah. Fine to walk around. Yeah.
Just remember you can sign in.
Yeah. Virtual. And then of course in the fintech in your area,
Yeah.
as real estate and fintech. So you know, the data is only as good as the data that you put into it. The data you get out is only good as the data you put into it. There is issues with this right now in financing. There's issues in the medical industry, right? Because it's, you know, it's a tool, right? We have to remember it as a tool because it's gonna, in the medical industry and CT scanning is focusing the physician, hey, look at these 5 areas first before you look at the whole CT of the body, right? For like a unconscious trauma patient, right? Then they still need to use their expertise, whether it's finance or medical, to do the diagnostics. It's just helping it get a little bit done faster and reducing, in the case of medical patient, you know, they could have a bleeding that you may be missing, and now you're able to get it faster. So challenges and limitations. So as I mentioned before, AI is it learns by itself, right? So it's dependent on the individual putting their information in, which raises privacy concerns. Chat GPT now claims they're only storing your information for a month. Before it was indefinitely. You have to assume it's going to be stored indefinitely because they're using that data to automatically redo their algorithms. I could see a month being realistic because once you update it, you know, there's really no need to have the data after that. You know, so they may be telling the truth potentially, unlike Google. I don't know, but the risk of over reliance on AI, as I mentioned before, right? It should not be the decision maker. It's to make something faster, like in the medical field, make it faster, look at it, diagnose an issue, but then you still need to do your own review to make sure that you're not missing something. So it can save lives in that sense. And in the fintech space, it can make processing faster. Like if you can only give out 10 mortgages a year, right? And you have 500 applicants or something in that, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but you say, hey, look at these 20 people first, right? And then you just focus on them first. Ethical considerations. So AI, as I mentioned before, is only good as the information you put into it. So it's going to have its biases, right? So if there's certain populations that don't want to put information in, you're not going to have that as a basis to make the future decisions. So embracing AI in real estate, a leap towards innovation and efficiency. You know, just like anything else, you know, the impacts of AI in real estate are focused on improving customer interactions, enhanced operations, market insights, superior efficiencies, reduced costs, and you know, there's going to be a lot of challenges with AI, right? But you have to kind of weigh the pros and the cons of anything else in life. So this is my quick overview. So if anybody has any questions, if not, thanks, Matt.
You wanna chat GPT and try something?
I don't have my.
I have on here.
Oh, you do?
So this is not necessarily real
I just
estate,
used it.
but more AI.
Business name.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the difference between C3 AI and Chat GPT?
What do you mean by C3?
Like C3 AI, I see those commercials all the time. Like they're helping business. It's making a million predictions a day to help businesses run.
C3?
C3 AI.
Another company.
So it's
Okay, maybe just
a
another
trading
platform.
But it's like, to me, it's my understanding is it's just taking the information that it has and making predictions.
Yeah, so
Where this AI seems like it's like just you type in, write me a 1,000-word essay, and it's going to write you a 1,000-word essay.
yeah, so all these tools that I mentioned earlier is probably similar to what you're saying about the C3. It's just another interfacing platform that's being run by some larger database like ChatGPT or Bing or one of the other ones.
But they said first one that's like it's creating its own content.
Okay.
Or
yeah,
involving them. Like the chat, like tell me anything, and you know, write a song, and it writes a song.
Yeah, ChatGPT does a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That seems to me, they seem to be the first AI that does that stuff.
Okay.
Or is there another one?
Well, I mean, there's Bing, there's ChatGPT, those are the main two. Bard, yeah. Yeah.
That's Google. Do you think ChatGPT will make Google obsolete?
I don't know. I mean, I heard different things. It's
too early to tell.
So the downside with ChatGPT right now is that the data on is only through 2021. Now you can use. I have a web extension
Matt, we
called.
can't see the presentation. We see you though.
called Web Chat GPT, I think the name of it. It's a web extension for Google Chrome. And it will pull information from websites and then upload that and allow you to, use that in ChatGPT. But ChatGPT gets confused because you'll say, give me research articles in the last 2 years. And ChatGPT will say, my data is only good from 2021. And then they'll give you a bunch of articles from 2022 because it's pulling in through the extension and it gets confused, but it's giving you information, even though it's thinking it's not giving you the information.
Interesting.
So it's called Web Chat GPT. It's an extension from Google that I use if you're interested in it.
Can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
But Bing, on the other hand, and maybe Bard too, I'm not sure. But Bing, I know because I use that too. That is the advantage of that over ChatGPT. Is that it's active, yeah.
So Bard.
Is Bard okay?
Yeah, but Bard isn't quite as smart though yet. As smart. It's still.
I think ChatGPT is like 100 times smarter than Bing.
But just like what you're talking about with computers, Chat GPT can only respond based on the prompt that you give it. So if your prompt is poor, your output's going to be poor. And the other thing that's of interest to me, because I'm in the educational space, is that of course students of all ages are already trying to use it to cheat, basically, and then they all cry when they get caught.
I use this all the time.
So
I used it to generate.
Where was this when I was
names for
in
my
college?
business.
Yeah, it's fine.
And Bing was interesting because it popped up just out of nowhere. I'm like, how the hell did this come on here? And it gave me explanations as to why it gave me the names it gave me, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is a chat that I just put in here. You asked ChatGPT to write a letter. I'm a real estate investor. Write a letter to a property owner whose home is in distress. Make it personal and based on our interest in purchasing the property. And it pumps out this thing, which second, you can copy, you can insert your information, and based on what you put, you can write this paragraph up there as detailed as you want. You can say, what are some ways you can customize this to get even more of a fine
personality?
Yeah.
That's like how you want. Make it shorter, make it longer.
The letter that you told us to write for the property owner, guess who helped me write it? ChatGPT, and I said,
Nice.
include these bullet points, and I include some personal details.
That was a good letter. That was good.
They got the house.
It's
2 standard schnauzers, 2 sons. I'm an educator, he's a software developer, and I just took bullet points like that, and I put it in, and it spit it out in like 30 seconds or less, 15.
There is still no way of this to produce you content, correct? Like I can't make me a PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
No, well, what you can do is, well, there are PowerPoint tools that basically will create. I tried some and they're pretty terrible. What I had better experience with doing is you can say like this when you write in ChatGPT, you should typically write in brackets, right?
I'm sorry.
Right.
So you'll just say
But it'll break it down into.
And then you're putting all the slides. Let me ask you this, because I've heard one guy who owns a title company I know was telling me about how, I don't remember if he had said it was Microsoft, but there's something that he can put AI into his email.
Yep.
That reads how he responds to people. And then now he's going into his inbox, he's clicking on the email, and it's already a typed out response that he just has to hit send on.
Yep.
What do you know what product that is?
what was it?
He said it's something that he has ingrained into his email.
It's called the one I use is Marlin, Marlin.
And is that what email platform?
I use it on Gmail.
And
it runs off of ChatGPT and it's free.
Can you do that? Is that just Gmail or can you use it with
I
is there
don't know.
something I can use with Outlook?
I'm sure there is. Look at Marlin, Marlin. It works great. It works great with Chrome. I don't know about Outlook.
Oh man, how much time that could save.
Yeah.
It'll give you
how to direct my receipts off spot because more of yeah, send. You go, yeah.
While you're typing that, guys, Brian or Mike said he uses ChatGPT
as far as home inspection software or
Mhm.
narratives on items. That's huge time savings.
Yeah. And that's really where, it's, that's really where you're gonna see the work. It's like knowing, not doing the work, but knowing how to put the prompt in.
Yep.
And getting it to do that heavy lifting for you. Now, you're still gonna read it because it's not gonna sound like you, or it's gonna use vocabulary words maybe you wouldn't use. It's still gonna sound a little stiff, that's the word I use.
Yeah.
But it still saved you oodles of time, and I'm an English major, I love words, but still, who wants to spend, an hour writing an email?
Does it cut wood and run excavators yet? Cause you can cut it.
What do they do to protect against that in the school system?
It's really more about educating the teachers and letting them know that this is thing, and moving more to what I call project-based learning, where you have to actually create something that you can't.
I would think this is gonna reinvent the entire school system.
It
What is gonna prevent any kid from just saying?
Nothing. They already know. They already know. They know from TikTok. If you don't think they know, they know. And don't put it past fourth graders either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as
Don't think your little darlings are innocent either.
Yeah.
So as you were mentioning earlier, you have to be very specific with what you're telling it, right? Because if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. I've actually made I've made stuff like this before where I got bad results. I'm like, oh, I was missing X, Y, or Z. So like, write me a PowerPoint presentation with titles, bullet points from real estate wholesale presentation, motivated sales. I will copy and paste your text into my PowerPoint presentation.
Now, what's the things you have on the outside of it between create the presentation?
Oh, I just put brackets around it.
For what reason?
I don't know. It works better for some reason. It's just what I learned. I don't know why, but I don't understand the background of that.
I've been having it help me apply for jobs.
So this is what it comes out. You can even ask it to create me like subtitles too, right? So you could say, give me subtitles. So this kind of see, it does weird things like this.
Brian, did you use this for your whole presentation?
So what you could do, it does. I don't know why it does that. It gives you title, but maybe this is this is the title. Okay. Yeah, and then here's your bullet points. You can even say like expand on the bullet points and give me talking points for each bullet point or something like that. So if this should work right, you should say
super interactive. Create. I think I was very specific. I was like, create a workout program for a person that's a beginner who's never, been to the gym, has this equipment available, and a list of equipment.
Yeah,
these many days a week, with the goal to lose this many pounds or this amount, and let's spit out a whole entire workout.
And you can have it put it in a table for you, like
Monday. It was insane. Like I told you, I was like, remove squats, add something else, add a whole different. It was insane.
Here's another thing you can have it do. You can have it create a menu for you.
A menu.
Yeah. You tell
ingredients for food,
and then it'll make you a shopping list and a recipe.
how many calories or how many carbs you want. You just enter that, and it spits it out.
Anything.
It's a genie. Just which word it'll deliver.
So what I was giving before is right. We had the bullet points. Now I asked them to create talking points for each of those bullet points. So I find it works better, and I learned this from reading something online. I forget why, but if you put brackets and then explain even further detail, if you don't like, because you're never going to like what you get the first time. Put brackets, give it more detail. Say recompile or rewrite what you already told me, but add the following information, or rewrite it in my, I don't know, Southern accent or whatever you want to say.
Explain the.
Yeah, right. Like if you're a teacher, you could say write it as I'm explaining it to a fourth grader what a wholesaling is or what the is.
Brian, can you explain, because this version of ChatGPT 4 is not free. Can you go over cost, where it's free, what it costs if you choose to get this version?
Yeah, so
this is I had the app on my phone.
There's a free version.
Wow. So
this is separate from
so this is the real ChatGPT. So there's a lot of so there's I don't actually, as of few weeks ago when I looked, ChatGPT or OpenAI did not have their own app. There's a lot of apps out there that use logos that look like them that are run by their software, but it's not actually ChatGPT. Did you get this one?
There's probably less lies story.
And stealing. I have a version as well, but not OpenAI.
When did you get this app?
I probably downloaded this a month ago.
Okay.
But before, I just had it saved bookmarked. I had the website saved. Then all of a sudden, I just typed it in the app store and it pulled up.
Yeah, so there's a lot of apps out there that like look like their logo, but it's not OpenAI, and they're run by AI or OpenAI ChatGPT-4, so it's probably just as good, but it's not actually OpenAI.
Interesting.
So this is like, I think it's $20 a month for ChatGPT-4. ChatGPT-3 and 3.5 are free. I think 3 is actually discontinued now.
It's on there in the backup.
I think it's 3.5.
There's only so many users that can be logged into the system at a time.
I think it's
you logged on before.
I remember that the first time someone told me about it, I tried to log on to the site and I couldn't get in.
And even ChatGPT-4 had limits. You can only ask it so many queries.
20 every 3 hours or something.
Yeah. So it's limited based on the servers that run it. But this is direct from OpenAI. It's $20 a month.
Yeah, this is the real version. But like I said, there's a lot of apps and other websites out there that pull from OpenAI that are not OpenAI. But this is the real one. I think 3 may be discontinued, and now it's 3.5 and 4. 3.5 is free.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Dolly's a picture.
Same thing. Yeah, you can type it to write anything for you. It'll
Is it the same logo?
This also is pay per each time you use it. You got to use credits for it.
Yeah, we're gonna
It's a
charge
different
you.
version. No. You see all these pictures of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg dancing on a beach. It's something 15 cents a year to have it done.
Now, the nice thing with this, though, it's worth it if you want to build a website and not take the risk of getting sued because you're taking a copyrighted image. It's worth paying the $2 or dollar or whatever, 50 or whatever it costs to get an image.
Yeah.
You know, because people copy stuff off of Google and then they realize that it's owned by somebody and they get sued.
This is just
So what's
that I
the
use.
Dolly.
Yeah.
You could tell that some
Another one I should name Midjourney. That's what, Midjourney.
sometimes it jacks up. So
You typing in to get this?
Brandon,
Whatever you want.
I took a picture of our logo with our names on it and uploaded here and said, make a something for this. And it just did weird stuff. So that was just an example. You chromosomes.
No.
Wow.
So there's a lot out there. The nice thing about these third-party apps, though, is that you can get ChatGPT for free essentially through their apps. I use ChatGPT. For me, it's worth it because I think it's, I don't know, I have better luck with it, I think, than using some of the third-party apps. But Merlin, everything. That one is really good. It'll give you prompts in Chrome saying like, agree with what they're saying, disagree with what they're saying, ask them a question, or just type in a general response and we'll, expand on it or and then it'll populate it before you hit send, obviously. So it's a tool, right? You can't rely on it 100%.
No, but even something like this, it's a jumping off point, right? Like it lays it out for you,
And then-
edit it, put your twist on it from there, but it's something to
start.
yes.
And then if you like, I don't know, 1 or 2 slides and you don't like the other ones, you can say, hey, go back and fix slide 3 and do whatever you want it to do.
Mhm.
So it's
Can I come in really quick?
yeah.
No, you're gonna answer more questions. Is everybody cool? We open this up to questions. Obviously, Brian just finished presenting, but you can ask him questions. But 8 o'clock is just a soft ending. There is no end limit to this. But the one thing we do ask before you leave, I want to try and get a group picture of everybody here if you're all cool with it. But please ask Brian as many questions as you want. Let's try some examples and then just stay as long as you want to network afterwards. But 8 o'clock is not a hard ending. So let Brian have it. There you go. Can't avoid it.
Tell you, if you charge build the plans for a while.
It won't.
There's limits. There's limits.
has some.
That's good.
Sure. You know, there are no rules. And ways, just say stuff to get around the rules. It'll do it.
Well, and that's the concern, right? Because you had Web 1.0, right, which was the 90s. It's just text, right? You just get text from you read online, right? Web 2.0 was interactive, right? Facebook, Instagram. Web 3.0 is when you own the data, right? Web 3.0 is actually a bunch of things. You own the data. It's AI. And it's also Internet of Things, right? Which like smart devices at your house connected. So Web 3.0 is a bunch of things, right? It's almost like three unrelated things or even more combined, right? And we're getting into Web 3.0 right now. So AI is just one of those things. Now the question you're saying right now it's limited, but someday with Web 3.0, if you're really, you know, like the blockchain, and when you're getting off of the systems and you're creating, you know, these, what do you call it? Off the grid systems, right? The question is now, is that stuff going to be open to creating bombs, right? Because technically you could, because you're not owned by any system, right? You're just yeah, right now it's limited. Like it's great if you want to say, hey, I'm 150 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds, create me a diet, whatever, it'll create you a diet, you know, and you can every week adjust it, right? But yeah, building bombs is probably gonna say no.
If you ask it to say something insulting or derogatory, it will not do it. It says, hey, you know, I'm not smart enough yet, but I won't do it.
It's got more decency than humans.
Anybody on the call here have a question for Brian? Richard, Yvonne, Adam? Since you're the stragglers left?
No, I'm good. It was a great presentation. Thanks.
Adam, you got any questions? All right, cool. Richard, are you cool if we stop this a little bit early and just have everybody network? We'll keep you on in the background.
Yeah, well, actually, I got a hard stop at 8, so I'll go ahead and drop off. But I think it's been a great call. Really appreciate everyone. The presentations were awesome.
Thank you guys for calling in. Appreciate it. All right, Richard, before you do bounce, we're looking at in the next month or two to have a few more subjects. We'll get the agendas and the presenters out. We hope to have them locked in the next few days, and we'll send it out. But please be on the lookout for the new message, the new domain, like we talked about. The goal is to not have it come from our accounts, where it comes from the groups. But thanks everybody for joining.
Yep, thanks,
guys.
And the lenders determine the rent just based off what the market is at, what
the appraiser.
comps
We're
renting
gonna
it.
send an appraiser out to the property. We're gonna do 30-second intros because I forgot to do that earlier. Everybody's gonna get put in the spot, so get your elevator pitch. All right, you know who I am. I'm gonna go right here first.
Hector, I'm the owner of Cardona Signature Construction.
Hector does all of our contractor walkthroughs. He provides clients with estimates. They write their offers based on his estimate, and he does a shit ton of work for us. So keep crushing it. You know that guy.
Hey everyone, Abby Vai. I work with Equity Resources, new lender to the industry, recently got out of the Air Force. So learning a lot about real estate here in the market, and glad to be plugged in here with this group. Thank you, Adam.
CJ Sabo. I am a realtor, brokerage right down the street there, but also real estate, getting into real estate investing as well.
It's my son, the owner of ROI Home Inspections, and a local investor of a few units in Allentown locally.
You picked that tongue twister name.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You did.
Oh no, I'm Sarah Anderson. I'm a newbie. I'm found Matt and John, and I'm trying to work on getting either a house hack or short-term rental property or something. We're working on it. But and I'm also putting together a way to help people renovate and rehab because I'm in the design and construction industry.
There you go, brother. Back them up.
name's Ryan. I'm a licensed realtor with Matt and a real estate investor myself. It's good to meet everybody. Just here to make friends, meet new people and network and have a good time. Thank you.
He's here for the hoagies.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Brian Walter. I'm a full-time engineer and a part-time wholesaler. So you'll be hearing from me a little bit later.
Oh, hi, I'm Eileen Snover. I am still currently, I guess, still an educator, but a new investor here with Matt. And just here to learn and connect and grow.
Cool. I'm gonna go with you in the back, Ken. There you go.
Stand up. Hi, my name is Ken Morrow. I am Matt's dad, and I'm recently retired. And my wife and I and Matt are partners on a 5-unit building in Copley. It's doing well.
The retirement plan.
Lee Snow, married Eileen, software developer, and pretty much a star investor. So just purchased the property with Matt, and looking forward to meeting some more people and making some more connections.
Sweet. I miss anybody? Anybody on the call or the Zoom call want to introduce yourself? How about Khalil? We'll start with you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, my name's Khalil. Originally from Brooklyn, New York. Looking to actually move out to the Lehigh Valley area soon and do a little live-in house hack and start my investing career. Yeah, excited to be here. Glad to connect with Matt and John through Bigger Pockets, and really just have a lot of admiration for everything you guys have built and the connections and network you guys are working on. And yeah, excited to meet everybody, hopefully in person one day.
Yeah, very good. I got to volunteer to house hack with you. We'll go with Adam Purvis.
Hi, everyone. Adam. I'm a newbie real estate investor. I currently have a duplex in Easton, Pennsylvania as my investment property. For my full-time job, I'm a sales engineer for a data backup company. And so, like everyone else, I am looking to network and expand my portfolio to eventually reach the stage of being financially free.
We'll go with the other Adam. We didn't put his last name. Just, oh yeah, there he is.
Hey guys, can you hear me? My signal's probably terrible here.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, guys. So in terms of real estate investing, I'm kind of green, but I've been working in the finance space for a while now. I help people with tax incentives for their business, and in terms of real estate investing, I help a bunch of investors with engineering-based cost segregation studies. Looking to get into wholesaling and real estate investing myself soon. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Yvonne?
Hi everyone. I am newbie too. So I am starting. I actually started last year, but I work for the postal service, so I have been on and off. And I decided I have to do this now, otherwise I will not do it. So that's why I started looking in the Bigger Pocket. I found Matthew and I sent a message and I saw he had something today. I said, okay, let me register. Let me just, I was gonna go physically, but then I said, oh, the traffic, what do I do? Oh, and they said that they had it online, so I'm gonna attend online. So I hope that I can meet you all.
Thank you. LH, I don't know if you want to write your name out or say it.
Hi everybody. My name is Leah Holly. I live in Easton. I was surfing through the Bigger Pockets today, and I saw the link. I am also a newbie. I recently just got a property in Schuylkill County that I am working on, And so when I saw that you have a presentation today, I decided to join it. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. That was a very good presentation. Hopefully we'll exchange information or get to learn more through all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Want me to bring this?